I'm tearing the old ugly siding off this deck and I'm replacing it with new cedar. So let's get started. This deck, as the sides of it have been in terrible shape for quite a while, and I've really needed to change these old T111 panels out. So first off, I'm going to go in and of course unscrew all these. And you're going to want to make sure you remove all the screw heads, and if some of them break, you'll want to pound them in flush. Now I'm going to use cedar fence stakes, and they're 5.5 inches wide and by 6 feet, so I can get 3 20-inch pieces out of them easily. I use cedar because cedar holds up really well and it doesn't rot as easily. Plus, I just love the look of cedar. Now, luckily, the pressure-treated 2x4 at the bottom is still in good shape. So I'm going to use a shovel. I'm going to dig it out a little bit because really I do not want to put the cedar down into the dirt or touching the dirt if you can avoid it. Now I'm going to be using the Bauer stapler and 1 1/4 inch staples in this, and I'll put a link to a review on this cordless staple gun at the end of the video. Also, a small level comes in real handy. Once you get your first one level and started, you'll only need to periodically check on these as you line them up and start stapling them down. Now I'm going to just take a pencil and mark out where some of the railing posts come down, and I'll just use a saw and trim these out. It's very simple and easy. Now for the most part, I've been able to use the old markings from where the old siding came down, but if you kind of lose that, just mark it off and use like a long level or straight edge to throw your mark down in there to keep your siding going. On this last one coming up to the steps, I made sure I put it on first because otherwise I would have not been able to get in that last panel. Now this has easily been a one-day project, which makes it really, if you got good weather, it's a nice day to be doing it. Now I'm going to move to the table saw and I'm going to start cutting some of these 6-foot fence slats down into the 1.5-inch wide molding strips that I'm going to put around the edging of it, so I can get 2 out of each board, plus enough to rip and make 2 small pieces that can be connected to the back that will be standoffs for it. That'll help me to put the molding over the top of my trim and look flush with it. So I'm going to run a bead of glue across the top and then glue down and staple down the remaining trim piece that I cut. And I'll do this on enough of these 6-foot pieces to go all the way around the sides. Now I can take these over to the sawhorses and start staining these with a water-based solid stain. This is the same stain that I used on the deck 3 years ago. So the deck's ready for a new coat, so I'm going to use this same color on it so that it matches. Once I have all of these coated, now I'm going to have time to go back over to the siding and put on some sealer. I'm using some Olympic Weather Guard clear wood sealer. It's a water base. I've never used it before. So I'm going to try it out because I want to keep the natural look of the wood. Now this goes on like super thin, which is fine because it's like trying to paint with 1% milk. The roller worked fine for most of it, but I did use a brush to get all my edging done. Now we can start installing the trim. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bring this up just under the deck. Now somewhere on your deck you may want to leave yourself a 2 or 3 foot section that you actually screw into place that could be removable if you ever need to get under the deck. For me, I put a trap door on the top of it. Now I'm going to put trim onto the corners, but I'm not going to put trim on the bottom because I think I'm going to put either like a gravel or even like a flower bed down around that, so it won't be necessary. This really made a huge improvement to the side of the deck. I'm really happy with it, how it turned out. I love the cedar against that dark wood. Thanks for watching. In the meantime, I'll see you soon.